Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Stormworks. Hope you guys all survived Christmas, because there are some containers that need shipping. And it's going to require a train. I have managed to get a couple of the containers over to the train yard, but now I need a train to actually bring these things over to the various terminals. Some have to go to the Sawyer North Freight Terminal, and some of them have to go to the Sawyer South Freight Terminal. Now, I don't even know where the Sawyer South Freight Terminal is, actually. I know where the northern one is, because I happen to own it, the North Harbor. But where's the south one? It's somewhere down here, I suppose. Anyway, bringing it to here might not allow me to take it on farther by train, but maybe by car, maybe by truck. So at some point I'll have to have them over here anyway. And that means I need to bring five containers over to the Sawyer North Freight Terminal. I've already constructed a train that's going to be capable of getting these things transported. It's just a simple container car. But now I need the actual, what do you call that? The locomotive. I need a vehicle that's capable of bringing these things in motion. I'm going to go with a heavy engine, and that hopefully will give me enough power to get these things up to a decent speed, because it's a long way. It's a long way. But then again, trains can get pretty damn fast. And that's quite nice, because that means that it shortens the journey significantly. Now, as for the aesthetics of this train, I don't really care. I know that there are some really beautiful trains on the workshop, but it's not really for me. It's not really something that I'm particularly going for. So if you're looking for a beautiful train, have a look at the Steam Workshop, because people over there are far, far better at designing pretty trains than I am. Now I'm going to try and sink this thing into the floor bed of the train. Oh, it's not wide enough. Hang on. Like that then? Now it's no, it's not upside down. That's it, but it just needs to be one line taller, I think. Just refuses. Alright, in that case we'll do it slightly different. We'll just make this thing enclosed, then put the engine on, and then remove the floor bed again. There. Now, normally with a vehicle, mostly ships that I've been constructing, I would use water cooling. I would pump in water from the ocean, and I would pump back out. Actually, maybe it's safer to have this thing lying down. Screw it, we'll just start over. Normally I would pump in cold water from the sea and pump out hot water back into the sea as well. Unfortunately, that's not quite going to be happening in this time, because I don't have water. So I'll have to use a radiator. And it can just be a simple fluid radiator, coolant in, coolant out. Pretty straightforward. Let's have, maybe for aesthetics I can have a couple of these on the sides. Just like that. Then, tie all of this stuff together. This is going to require a bit of more intricate piping than I normally do. Because I would have to have this one off. Let's make sure this is the cold one, correct? Yeah, this is coolant in. So that's the cold water, if you will. And that's going to go here and here. It's probably not the right color, but whatever. This is the color that I usually use. And then red, telling me that this stuff is going to be warm. And that one's going to go here. Tie that in. There. That's my cooling system. Next up, we're going to have an exhaust system, which goes both ways. We need a fuel intake, and we need an air intake. I'm probably going to make a custom fuel tank here, because I have a bit of room for that. And I don't believe that trains need that much fuel to begin with. Because, well, in my limited experience with trains, I've found that they are very, very efficient beasts. They're very good getting stuff hauled over larger distances at speed while still not using that much fuel. Alright, so that's going to be the fuel tank. Fluids. I need a fluid spawner. That's going to go here. And I need a fluid meter. That's going to tell me how much there is left. Last thing I need is for this thing to run out of fuel halfway. That is definitely a risk. But I hope not to encounter that, because then I have a stranded train and I would need to figure out a way to get more fuel to it. Alright, a port over here. And then a pipe over here. There. That's my fuel sorted. Then we have the air intake and the exhaust outputs. The exhaust outputs can go over here, nicely on the side. Again, fluid ports. And we can have those things connected by pipes. And then up here, another port. And that's going to be the aerial intake. And that is pretty much it for the main part of the train. That's the engine requirements sorted. Now there is something else, and that is the engine power. Where do we leave that? Where do we do with it? Or what do we do with it? First up, I'm always going to have this engine on. So I'll definitely be running a generator. Because the last thing that I need on a train is for it to run out of power. Then a gearbox. Probably a few gearboxes, in fact. And if I put those like this, they'll not take up as much room. Spin that round and spin that round like that. We need to go here. That's the B one. It needs to be pointing at the engine. Yeah, so this one first. And then that one ties into here. As I mentioned, it has been a while since I designed a train, so I'm not too sure what the gear ratios need to be. What sort of power a train actually needs in order to start moving forward. But considering that we're trying to pull something along that is going to be really heavy, I imagine that we're going to need a fair bit of power in order to do that. Is that the A input? Yes, it is. Pipe. Then another pipe here. Okay. Now we need to start thinking about how we're going to put the wheels on. These things, these train wheel assemblies, they have a port where you can pump in the power, if you will. That's where the propulsion goes. So I'll have to ensure that somehow, wherever I happen to put the wheels, they're going to get power. So I'll probably have 2, maybe 3 wheel sets. Yeah, probably 3. 1 in the front, 2 in the back. And I want them all powered. Whether that's going to be the most efficient thing, I don't know. But then again, trial and error. One thing is important, make sure you have that arrow pointing forward. That is critical. And ideally, align this thing in the middle. Yeah, arrows pointing forward. One here. And another one over. No, that would be a bit weird. A bit like here. Okay. Piping. Fortunately, it shouldn't be too difficult, since I can just remove the center line of the craft and replace that with standard pipes. Just with the closed pipe system. So I could have an angled pipe over here. Like that. We're going to continue on backwards up until the point where we meet that second part. Once there, if I can figure it out, we're going to need a T-piece, an enclosed one. Like that. Another straight pipe, not like that, pointing backwards. And a bunch like that. And then we're getting pretty close to where I need to be. which is over here. Another closed angled pipe. And just close it up. That's the train. Pretty much. That's it. Now we just need a control point. And that'll sort it. So, closed T-piece. And then this part's probably going to get covered up. So this one doesn't need to be using closed pipes. Like I said, aesthetics are not really of any concern here. Oh, crap. If I make it a bit longer, I might make it slightly angled. Like that. Yep. Close that up, close that up, close that up. And now just the top sides and the sides of this thing. Done. Lock this thing down. Okay, for this I will need some pipes apparently. Some closed pipes, that is. Angled, closed. That way. Straight pipes. And then over here the angled ones. Now we're going to come up to the control module. The control, I don't know, do you call it a cockpit for a train? I don't know, I don't really know that much about trains, as you might have figured at this point. What I do want is a way while on the train to move to the back. And over here, and this is something that I have on the other ones as well, I want a pivot and a connector. This one is going to connect all the other parts that I have behind it. So a toggle piece. This one's going to connect to that. And this toggles the connector. Toggle connector. Okay. On the back here, what I could have is a bit of equipment. Although you could make the case that this is going to be a pure cargo train and that you don't really need that. You don't really need any kind of firefighting or rescue equipment on this one. Also, I will need a way to get on the train. And ladders would do just that. Oh, no, not there. Great. That's a bit limited. Well, I guess it'll have to do. And over here, we're going to work on the nose. The nose of the train. With the angles that I have, maybe the 2x1s could look somewhere halfway decent. Of course, it is a bunch of extra blocks that I'm hauling along that I don't really need. But then again, aesthetics are also important for these vehicles. Somewhat. Okay, I cannot really be making the same claim in the same video as I say that I don't really care about aesthetics. Another one of these. Okay, the 2x1 wedges. 1, 2. Close that up. I want a couple standard 2x1 wedges. Just close this part up. It's probably not terribly aerodynamic, I'll grant you that much. But then again, I don't know how much Stormworks actually cares about that. Does the game really care about aerodynamics for trains? I know it cares about it to some extent when you're building aircraft, helicopters, such. But whether it cares about it when you're building a train? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Do you guys know? Is this important? I think it's just for aesthetics, not really much else. Spin that round. Connect that. Another wedge. Now at this point I'm going to have to really start thinking about the cockpit. Otherwise I run into trouble. A bit more closing. Time for some windows. We're going to go with an angled window. Nah, it's not a boat. It's a train. Hang on. If I want to tie that into these types of windows. Yeah, that could work. I could make that work. There. It does still look a bit like a boat. At least it's the way that I usually design boats. But hey ho. At least I have a fairly high vantage point, which is nice. Wait. Oh, you're getting too tall. Gotcha. Trying to move you down a bit then. What I would really like to see from the devs is a way to show or to use the 2x1s, the 2x1 wedges. But there currently just isn't without having a sort of an overhang. Which in case of a train like this isn't that bad. But overall I do prefer it more if it just connects it entirely exactly with the wing. Or with the window, not the wing. With the window. 2x1. Can I just drag that thing out sideways? No, I can drag it up. Oh well. Maybe another one of these. Another one of these angles. Although it probably doesn't work with that angle. Oh, these windows can always be such a hassle. Come on, work with me here. That's more like it. See, now they don't work. Now they stick out. That's what I don't like. That's why those edges don't work too well. Whereas if you use the standard one, this one, the 2x1, it does work. And I find that sad. I want those 2x1s, or the 2x1s and the 2x4s to actually work, but I'm afraid it's not going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make it 7 blocks tall and you can actually stand in it. Connect that, connect this here. Make a platform. This is 7 blocks tall, yes? Yes, it is. Okay. Time for a seat. I think a standard pilot seat would do nicely, because it also has a good number of buttons. And make sure that sinks into the ground. No, I probably cannot see enough from there. I need to put it up slightly higher here. Yeah, something like that. Alright, I'm going to have a couple of sliding doors. So I can actually get on this train and potentially, and this is more future stuff, use it in the Arctic. That's when I would want an enclosed space, so as to ensure I don't lose a lot of warmth. Currently it won't have any heating. Not yet, but maybe later. Once I actually have that researched. Really? I'm trying to get this window to sit here. There we go. Okay, you guys can move here. This way I still have a bit of ability to look left and right, while not impeding my visual too much. Do I have stairs yet? I do. Okay. I wasn't sure, but I believe they come with heavy shipping, which is nice. So one over here. It's always a bit of a pain to tie these things together. I never quite get that right. There we go. If you work from the ground up, it works a little better. Now, considering how that thing is positioned, I think I'm going to have to spin the doors around. And that means also spin the ladders to the other side. So the ladders are not going to come here. Close that up. The ladders are going to come there. And another one of these lines. And this one can go. I did say that I want to get on the back of the train. That's not quite going to happen in the current configuration, I'm afraid. What I could do, however, is make this fuel tank taller. And that way, I can make it a bit shorter. So I can remove this bit. And this. Remove this section here. It does have the risk that it makes the train a bit top heavy, but most of the time I think trains don't really care too much about that. Since, well, unless you're doing some sort of really powerful turn at exceptional speed, they won't flip over. At least I rather hope not. A door, a hinged door in this case. That's going to hinge inwards. This is going to hinge outwards. It's a bit of a double door system. But hey, it's my train. Does it work though? Yeah, it does. It hinges outward. I'll probably have to make a small cover here so as not to directly fall off the train. Alternatively, I just push the door outwards. Yeah, let's do that. That's easier. So remove this. Remove that. Remove the ladder. Remove a few of the pieces here. Then add the door as far out as possible, while still having some room for the ladder. Or actually, no, the other way around. Electric door. Or actually... yeah, electric door is fine. So, like that. And then we have the ladders over here. Nope, a bit further inwards then. Like that. Raise this bit. We need to do one more. Up. Back. Up. And I can have another window. I think that's this, the 3x1, like this. And then a large angled window. No, that doesn't quite fit what I wanted. What about the 3x2? And then use, is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. Here, here. And here I'll need the angled ones. Window edge, another window edge, and a couple of pyramid windows. One. No. It doesn't want to sit there. Curious. Do you have a reason for that? Oh. I'm sorry, my whole fuel tank's open right now. That's not very good. Over here, I need to first add a pipe. A pipe goes here, and a port goes there. Pipe. Done. That's all the fuel that I need. Can I just use these things to close this thing up? I think that would be easier. Let's see, can I make it like that? Yes. I hope the rest of the train is still tall enough for me to walk in. But I believe it is, because a door is the same size as a person, 175. So yes, that will fit. Okay. I want a player sensor. If there is a player nearby, open the door. And that's going to be a door that automatically closes on both sides. Let's hide that microcontroller in here. And then set up the player sensors to be detecting players at a hemisphere of just 1 meter. Detect players, distance 1 meter. Alright, if a player gets detected, then open the door. Same here, player detected, open the door. Okay, time to install some instruments. We need a dial to tell me what kind of fuel situation I have. Really, it's the box standard setup. I need a fuel, I need a display to tell me how fast I'm traveling. So I'll also need a speed sensor, linear speed sensor over here. KPH sensor, or a KPH translator, one there. KPH, no that's not, KPH to here. This is the fuel, so that takes the information from the fluid level. Fuel somewhere between 0 and I think 5k, give or take. Let's also set up a medium battery. I might be able to hide that one back here. Just on top of the gearboxes. Yep, it fits. Okay, good. Tie that into everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all the gearboxes. Engine. These two things. The displays. Spawn it in. Okay, the sliding door doesn't work on the outside because the player sensor is set up a bit too restricted. If I go to 1.5. Nope. 2 meters. Nope. Oh, it said as a hemisphere. Sphere. Nope, still don't want to. Okay. In that case, we'll just have to set up a few more player sensors on the outside. So back to 1 hemisphere. And both sides I need a player sensor. That one connects to here. The other one connects to the other door. And they both need to be set up for hemisphere detect players, distance 1. Detect players, distance 1. Thank you. There. Decent visual from the train. The door automatically closes. And now the real question is, will it work? Will it work? There, oops. Yeah, see, that's really fucking dangerous. That's really, really dangerous. If I have this thing moving and I happen to fall off, I'm going to be in a huge amount of trouble. What I could do to ensure that if I fall off the train eventually stops, is install a valve over here. An on-off fluid valve. No, that's a pump. Electric not connected. Yeah, that is rather important. Connect that to here. And I'm going to have yet another player sensor. And that's going to detect whether I am still on the train. If it detects me on the train, then the fuel valve is allowed open. Now, if I understand these things correctly, if it gets an on signal, the flow is allowed to go through. If it does not, it's not allowed to go through. Does it also have an output? No, it doesn't. So this way, if I detect players in a hemisphere of, or rather a sphere of 10 meters, I'll be fine. If I happen to fall off the train, then the train's going to go, nope, sorry, no more player, no fuel valve, or close the fuel valve, and the thing will shut down. Alright, well, I'm going to be beautifying the train a bit more, but I'll do that off camera. And next week, we're going to be test driving this thing and hopefully bringing a haul over to the Sawyers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, let me know down below in the comment section. And I'll see you soon in, well, 2021 for more Stormworks. See you then.